take you on a very concise tour of my basement studio. There's not much to it, so the whole point is actually to show you the gear that I use, the gear that I have chosen, the gear that I've gotten for free, and less of the space, although it is kind of cool now. I like it, but it is just a room. So we're gonna take a walkthrough really quick. I do have more comprehensive videos on most of the gear that I have, and I will link those as we go through and you see each element. But this will be a very concise, quick tour so you can see all the gear that I have and I use. So let's get started.
So as we walk in, you're going to see stuff kind of everywhere. Part of the reason for that is because I like to keep things out so that they're accessible. Starting here, I've got my Pelican case, which holds most of that stuff. Auxiliary cables, cases, unused, filter cases, rigging parts. Of course, I've got my Hotshot fogger here, which I still need to use, but that Pelican holds pretty much everything. Of course, I've got some spider spray, which I spray the perimeter inside and outside. I've got my heavy-duty toolbox, which holds all my tools that I use to assemble or fix everything. Next up, I've got this really nice IKEA little cart on wheels, kind of also for auxiliary equipment, whatever it needs to hold. This actually used to hold everything that was in the Pelican case, and it's now just a decorative cart. So as we move on, yeah, this thing is really great. I'd highly encourage everyone to have one of these little carts because it's great for everything. I've got my bookcase here, which has a little bit of everything, and my nice reading chair. And of course, I have the decorative things on my bookshelf, which just help add to the vibe of the basement. Moving right along, this is my main editing workhorse. It's a 2019 8-core i9 Intel iMac with 5K Retina display, 72 gigs of RAM, Radeon Pro Vega 64 with 8 gigs of RAM, I believe. I've also got a nice PreSonus audio box interface here, which I'm feeding my Warm Audio WA47 Junior straight into, which I now use for all of my voiceovers. No more USB mics for me. They were great, but this thing is awesome. Put a link below. Check it out. Great price for a great mic. And of course, I also have videos on most of these different individual things, like my iMac and my post-production process. Back here, I've got two G-Tech drives. One is a 10 terabyte, the other is a 12 terabyte RAID. The 10 terabyte reads and writes around 200-300 megs a second, whereas the 12 terabyte RAID is right around 500 megs a second, so much faster. Here we have my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, 6K. I'm guessing a lot of you have seen my video on this particular rig. I won't go into details here, but I've added a few new things like the DJI Focus. I really like that. I don't think there's a lot that's really new on the rig. There might be one or two elements, but I have really been enjoying the Focus, and the next step for me, of course, will be wireless image transmission, and that gets expensive, so that will probably be not in the near future, but I like this rig right now. It works for me. Now we're going to back up. Over here is my new utility rack. It houses everything essential, all boxes, all accessories. Here, my middle shelf is just kind of all the free things I got, but of course up top I have my gimbal, a little projector, Red Epic W box, which houses the Red Epic W, which I'm trying to sell. If you're interested, hit me up, and I can give you specs on that. But here's my Zune Crane 2 version 2. I really like this gimbal. It's done well. It just won't handle anything larger than a mirrorless. Here's of course, my YouTube free stuff shelf. I've got a lot of different things. If you're interested, I can tell you specifics about the things that are on here. A lot of these things, of course, have videos because they were for YouTube things and I was required to make a video. So I'll try and put some links on screen for those. A few of the things you're going to notice are the Comica mic. Of course, here's my Real Adventure mug, now for sale. Some Sandmark lights, my KNF Concept EF adapter to Sony E-mount. Yeah, a lot of great things. A Tarion camera bag there. Got a little bag for my GoPro. Moving down, I've got stuff for my lights. Of course, my DJI focus box. There's my reflectors for all of my Bowens mount reflectors, or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're actually called. Diffusers, reflectors. My DJI focus mount, my DJI Mini 2. Moving down, I've got boxes plus my little orange solid state amp, which I love. Here's the warm audio condenser mic. Got my, yeah, just stuff. Just shelf full of stuff. And of course, more boxes, more cases, more cables. Here I've got my case for my GVM light and a roll of gaff tape and my original DJI Mini 2 case. That concludes the tour of my utility shelf. And of course, I've got my GVM lights, my Rhino Rove Pro Traveler slider. I do like it, although I think it's nearing the end of its purpose. I may be selling that soon. Of course, I got some nice little light stands from Amazon, really cheap in both price and quality, but they do the job for you know, lightweight 80-watt LEDs. They're really great. Or the smaller LED panels, the Sandmark lights. I've got my my GVM 300 watt on this one, just because I don't want to put it on the overhead. It's too powerful if I put it directly overhead of the couch. So that's my key light. And I have an 80 watt light here on my newer C stand. Got some sandbags. Found these on Amazon, pretty cheap. I did need to buy sand for them. $6 for a 60-pound bag of sand. I also have my Davis & Sanford carbon fiber tripod, which I have had for at least 10 years, and I really like it. And then the tripod that my slider is on is a Magnus. I don't remember the model, but this thing was great when I first started getting into photo video because it's cheap, it's very sturdy. In fact, it's better than my Manfrotto tripod. So I really like this. In fact, I use my Kessler Pocket Jib on this tripod. And I really like the Davis & Sanford for traveling specifically and photo specifically. As we keep moving, I have my GVM 80 watt LED with my brand new Godox softbox. This thing is huge, it's like 43 inches. Whereas my old one is probably 23 inches. But I really like this thing. It's relatively cheap, and I'll put a link to that. Here, of course, is my Peak Design Everyday 30-liter backpack. This thing has just literally been around the world. This is really a general overview of my studio. Like I said, if you have any questions about any of the gear, oh, don't forget the dehumidifier. I'm in a cold, dank basement, so that's pretty essential. I like this thing. It does the job, does what I need, and it's quiet and stays out of the way. So that's my studio. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.